Hello and welcome to my Tarot Corner. So first I want to thank each and every one of you for one, coming back, and two, for supporting me. But just for those who do not want to hear my talking in the beginning of the video, I did find how to put timestamps, and there will be a timestamp for each video and for the beginning of the video, for the beginning of the reading, so you can jump right to the beginning of the reading and you don't have to listen to my babbling in the beginning of each video. But this is who I am, and I will go on talking and explaining why and how I am going to do each and every video, and a little bit about the tarot decks when I'm using a special deck. So what is this reading about? So first of all, there is this recurrent joke that every time something happens in the royal world, like for example, a woman like Sasha Walpole coming out and debunking what Harry said about an older woman that has taken his virginity, or something like a judge that is coming out and saying that Harry and Meghan will have to be grilled in front of court in the court case of Samantha and Meghan. Though the homeware stores in Montecito are very happy because all of the dishes in Montecito are getting broken, and maybe even the mirrors and maybe other things that can be broken are being broken, which is why I'm using two mirrors decks. One is the Broken Mirror Tarot. It's one of two decks that I have. This is two different editions. They are different a little bit in the artwork. So this is one of them. I think that I used the other one in one of my readings, and of course the Dark Mirror Tarot. And if you remember, I told you about the 1001 Tarot Spreads book that I got. It's on my iPad, so I will need my iPad here. And I found this very funny, not funny, but it's a serious tarot spread. It's called A Soul of Protection Against Volcano and Quakes Spread for Permanently Angry Partner. And I thought that this could be used for looking into the permanently angry Meghan from Harry's point of view. Because I was meaning to do this anger spread for Meghan, and how anger is affecting her, and how this tendency to get angry very easily is affecting Harry and their relationship. And then I found this spread, and I thought, well, this sounds like the perfect spread that I could use from Harry's point of view. So this is what I'm going to do, and before I start, please take a few moments to read my full disclaimer in the description box. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourself. So I'm going to clear the deck, and then I will ask what can Harry do to deal with his wife's permanent anger, or volcano and quake anger. So let's start by clearing the deck. Okay, so what can Harry do with Meghan's permanent state of anger or easily getting angry? What can Harry do with Meghan being angry or getting angry very easily? What can Harry do with his wife's being angry very easily or in her permanent state of anger, hatred towards his family? How can he deal with that? What can he do in order to deal with her anger? Okay, so the first card is, has Meghan always been angry, or did she learn that from some family member in her childhood? So that is that something that she was, is that a tendency that she was born with, or is it something that she she learned from someone as she was growing up? And the card that I'm getting is the Devil. Let me just put on some light. Okay, so the Devil card is actually showing us that it is a very spiritual card, and it shows something that is very inert in Meghan herself. This is something that is in her own characteristics, and something that is, as A.G. Tudor says, it is her own character traits. But we all know that, first of all, I do not believe that any child is born clear. There is I don't believe that there is such thing as tabula rasa, as people say, that a child is born as a clear slate. Sorry, I don't believe in that. Children are born with some kind of personality traits, and this is one of those personality traits. And actually, it was seen in her during her childhood. Now, if we're looking at this Devil card, we can see that here's the woman, here's the man. They are both tied by the devil with these very long strings, and we don't see the devil here. The devil is very obscure here, and there is this. There are we have the stairs here to the door of light. So there is the possibility to reach the light. There is a snake here that is very much blocking the way, or is on the man's way to reach the door. But there is a possibility, the man has the possibility to reach the door, the woman doesn't, and she's on this boat up here, and she cannot reach the door so much. It's not easy for the woman to reach the door, not as it is for the man. So it looks like the woman is in a worse state than the man is, but it's not a typical devil card. So once again, this is about this is about a person that, in my opinion, was born in with very specific personality traits. But on top of that, there were things in her childhood that contributed to that. And as A.G. Tudor always says, a narcissist is being created by all sorts of things in her childhood. Now, A.G. Tudor himself claims that narcissists are being created because of all sorts of abuse. He himself says that he went through all sorts of abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. Now, Meghan herself wasn't going through abuse in her childhood. She was very pampered. But she was, he claims that Thomas Markle himself was a narcissist, and that created Meghan as a narcissist. Now, I'm not sure that this is true. Okay, so there was a disturbance, so I was a little bit set off. But as I was saying, I'm not sure that this is true, and this was the reason why she became a narcissist. But we see narcissistic traits with her since she was a very small child. So I don't know what happened and what was the trigger that made her a narcissist, but I can say that she has always been an angry person, and this shows that she always has been an angry person, and we see that all through her. Well, we see that in her face. We see that in her jaw when she clutches her jaw. So getting the devil card right at the start of the reading, at the beginning of the reading, it's very telling. Okay, so that's the first card. Okay, second card. So is it triggered by stress, work, financial worries, or is it, or children, or is it a reaction to whatever circumstances? Let's see what is the trigger to Meghan's anger. And the card that I'm getting here is another major arcana, and it's the Hermit card. So once again, because we're talking about the trigger of her anger, and we got the Hermit card, I would say that the trigger here is not her work, it's not financial worries, it's not her children, it's fear. It's fear of being left alone. It's fear of being ostracized. It's fear of being the hermit, of not achieving the notoriety that she wants to achieve. She doesn't want to be the hermit. She just doesn't want to be the one who is in solitude, the one that is left aside. She wants to be in the center of the center. This is why she never wanted to be in the royal family. She wanted to achieve the notoriety in order to go back to Hollywood and to be there in the center, to be the one who walks on all of the red carpets, to be the one who is asked to all of the important parties. This is who she wanted to be. And she became the hermit because nobody asked them to any of those parties. Nobody, in every year, there are rumors that they are going to be asked to the Oscars or to the Golden Globes, or even this year there were rumors about the Emmys. They were never asked to any of these award ceremonies. And the only award ceremonies that they were asked to go to were award ceremonies that nobody heard of before, and they were asked to go to because, for example, what was her name? The Kennedy woman. I think it was Carrie Kennedy. So nobody knew about it, this award before. I mean, not in a global scale. I suppose people did know about it in the circles where people, small circles of people who in the know, but not in global scales, not in international scales. I suppose that Kerry Kennedy wanted the publicity, so that is why she decided to give this award to Harry and Meghan, because she knew that this will generate publicity. So now everybody knows what the Ripple of Hope Award is. So she got what she wanted. But Meghan did not get what she wanted, and this was to become not the hermit, but the superstar. She wanted to be like the woman in the world card, or she wanted to be the empress. She didn't want to become the hermit. She didn't want to be the one set aside. She didn't want to be left alone. She didn't want to be the one that isn't invited to the important events, and she wasn't even invited to an event that Spotify had last week. And she is one of Spotify podcasters. So she wasn't invited to the important events like like Oprah's birthday, like the one that Spotify had. She was invited to Ellen's birthday, which Ellen herself is another hermit now, because she is ostracized, because she was a bully. So she herself doesn't have the notoriety. She wasn't invited to other big events. She wasn't invited to the Emmy. And Harry is being joked about in almost every television late night shows, except the Saturday night show, I think, that still want him to come as a host. So I think that they haven't made a joke out of him yet, because they're still talking about him with him about that. Okay, so that is the main trigger. Next card is Meghan different, or is she charming with other people outside of home? So is she a different person outside of home? And what we're getting here is the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is a yes card. And this is a card of speed and velocity. This is a card of communication, especially electronic communication. But you can see by the color of this card, this is a card full of sunlight. You can see that this is a sunny card, and these are very dark card. You can see that by the color of the card. This is a yes card. And it just shows that Meghan is an actress, so she's pretending to be a very nice person when she's outside, when she's with other people, and she doesn't show her real face when she's with other people. She's trying to show everyone how happy she is, how she is in the right place in the right time. This is what the Eight of Wands is all about. How she feels that she has done the right thing, how she feels that she has the necessary qualification. And this is exactly what she's trying to say to everyone. Yeah, we're going to do feel good television because I have the necessary qualifications. I was a star in 2 Hallmark rom-coms, so I know how to make rom-coms. I have the necessary qualifications. This is exactly what this card is all about. I know how to do those things. I I am in the know, I know how to do it, I am in the right place, in the right time, I know how to communicate, and yes, this is a yes, I am the nice person, I am the happy person, I am the sunny person. So yeah, she shows a completely different person when they are outside of home, and a completely different person when they are inside. Okay, next card is card number 4. So is Harry afraid of the anger or the potential violence that is tipping over into, or that it is tipping into violence, in which case, what support refuge can he or is he urgently seeking? So, is he afraid of her anger or potential violence? And if it is tipping into violence, which support or refuge is he seeking? And what I'm getting here is the Four of Swords. Okay, so the Four of Swords is deciding not to decide. But this is not a usual Four of Swords. Just look at the card. This is a broken mirror card. This is a person that is surrounded with the Four of Swords. This is not the typical Four of Swords. The Four of Swords, as it is usually, it is a person that is lying down in a church with 3 swords that on top of him and 1 sword beneath him. We can see that here, but here he is more sitting and surrounded with the swords. So this is, I think, how Harry feels. So the answer is yes, he is afraid of her anger. He is afraid that it will become violent. And once again, look at the color of the card. This is a sunny card and this is a dark card. It's not as dark as the devil, but it is dark. He is afraid of her. And his refuge is to find a place where he can hide. This is what the Four of Swords is talking about. It's like finding a refuge in the church. If you remember, in the Middle Ages, when a person was, for example, a traitor, and he would find a refuge in church, there was this convention that he was protected because even a king couldn't go into a church and take out a traitor that found a refuge in the church. So a church is a place of refuge, and this is just like finding a refuge in some place. So this is how he deals with things. He runs away. He looks for a place to hide. And the Four of Swords is also a person that is not deciding because he's afraid of her. He's afraid of her, so he is afraid of anything that might trigger her anger. So he won't come out and say, I want a divorce, because he's afraid of her reaction. He won't come out and say anything that might trigger her anger. I'm not sure about violence, but since, once again, there are a lot of, the background is, it's like broken, so it is giving me this vibrations of this broken mirror, this broken house. So it does give me this vibration of breaking things around and getting very close to violence. This, tossing around dishes and being very very, very violent, but maybe not physical violence towards him, but violent in everything that is around them. So maybe breaking things and stuff like that. But this card shows that he is unable to make a decision. He feels sick. He is ill. So he's unable to make any kind of decision. This is a person, Harry is looking for some kind of a remission. He is in a very difficult reality, and he's running away from reality. He's looking for a retreat. He's looking for isolation. So he's really running away from this situation, is unable to deal with the situation. And this card just shows that he is afraid of her. He's afraid of her, and he is afraid that this this violence will become physical violence. It hasn't turned into physical violence towards him, but it is physical violence towards stuff around them. So when people are saying that she's breaking dishes, she's breaking things around the house, they are not mistaken. She is doing that. She is tossing around plates. Okay, so next card is, will Meghan acknowledge the problem and seek anger management or any kind of psychological problem? Or does she blame Harry for provoking her? So what we're getting here is the Empress. Okay, so the Empress card is a card that it's quite interesting, because we get the Empress just under the Hermit. And when we got the Hermit card, I said that she doesn't want to be the Hermit, she wants to be the Empress. She doesn't want to be seen as a hermit. She wants people to see her as the Empress. The Empress is the mother card. The Empress is the one who gives everything that she has without asking anything in return. She is the epitome of the one who is not asking for anything in return. She is the loving one. And as A.G. Tudor says, she's a narcissist, she's incapable of love, but she believes, or she thinks, that she loves Harry, she thinks that she loves her children, but she doesn't. But she wants the world to believe that she's an empress. She wants to be seen as the Empress. And this only shows in what sort of an illusion she is. And it shows that she's unable to acknowledge her problem. She thinks that she's the Empress. And because she thinks she's the Empress, it shows that she lives in this illusion, that she doesn't recognize that she's actually the devil, that she's actually the hermit. She doesn't recognize that. And this shows us that she has difficulty in placing order, that she is jealous, that she is full of hatred, that she is giving but on other people's expense. And it shows that she is using her sexuality to achieve goals. It shows that this is, and especially when we get this card in some kind of, let's say, when we do a reading about a couple, it shows a destructive relationship. So it is an anima card. It shows that this is a destructive relationship between her and Harry. And it shows that she's hiding the truth, and especially from herself, because she's unable to deal with the truth. So she's unable to acknowledge the problem. She will never go to any kind of psychological help. And she naturally blames Harry for everything because she thought that he will give her something that she thought that she deserves. And she wanted to be the empress. She wanted to be the queen. She wanted to be the one who sits on the throne with the crown on her top of her head. When she realized she couldn't be the Queen of England, she wanted to be the Queen of Hollywood, and she didn't receive neither of them. So she's angry at the person that she thought that that should have given that to her, and she didn't get that. Now just pay attention that this Empress card doesn't have a sun in it. It has a moon. So this is not a happy card. This is not a sunny card like the Empress, usually the Empress card. Now, it's true that the moon is the mother card. The moon is a mother. But still, it's not a very sunny card like in the Rider-Waite card. Okay, last card is, card number 6. Okay, so what protection and courage does Harry most seek from this soul? And what we're getting here is the sun. So that's interesting because the sun is the father. And the sun is also about happiness, it's about family, it's about being a father. So it's also looking at his children and maybe looking at at himself as a father. And I do believe that they have children, but maybe not children that she brought to life, but herself, maybe not from her body, but I do believe that they have children in their care. So he's looking at his own children. Just pay attention how many major arcanas we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. Very spiritual and very highly spiritual reading up until now, not down to earth, which means that there are not a lot of refuge that Harry can seek that is tangible, because the spiritual cards are things that are staying in the spiritual realm. They are not things that he can actually do. Now, this is also about asking help from his own father, and he's unable to really do that. So he keeps on thinking about it. Now, today came out his video that he made for Well Child Award. And people started analyzing that video from him. And in that video, he started talking about this competition, and he asked people to name their candidates for that competition, and he talked about his hope that he will be able to see those the people, to see them when he to meet those people. But he didn't say that he will come over. But of course, reporters started saying that he hinted about a return to England. Now, I'm not sure that he did, but I do think that in his mind, he is thinking about asking refuge from his father. This is why we get the Sun card here in this position. Because in his mind, he is thinking about his father as the only person that can help him. He is in a dire strait. He is in a very bad position. He is feeling very, very sick. And this card shows that he is not ready to ask for help. He is not ready to ask for anything. He is not ready to make a decision. So when he does make a decision, most probably he will ask his father for help. So right now he is thinking about happy times, he's thinking about his own family, he's thinking about his past family, he's thinking about the things that happened in the past, about maybe happier times with Meghan, but these are the things that are helping him to seek courage. But the only person that he can ask for protection is his own father, and he knows that. And in his mind, he knows that, and he thinks about that. But he's not ready to ask for protection from his father, not yet. And this is why we have the major arcana here. And if he was ready, we would have had the King of Pentacles, for example. Okay, so the last card is, should Harry leave until he knows that his partner has changed, or is it too late for that? And just pay attention that we're not talking about leaving forever, but only leaving until Meghan changes. And what we're getting here is the Eight of Coins. So the Eight of Coins is a yes card. But the Eight of Coins is a card that speaks about working hard, not receiving a lot in return. So this card is, first of all, it's a yes. So he should leave. This is what this card is saying. But this card is also talking about working very hard, but not getting a lot in return. So this is not expecting to get a lot. This is not expecting from Meghan to change. This is about leaving, and this is about hard time. It's not going to be easy. This is about something that is going to be very, very hard for Harry to do. This is about something that is going to be he's going to expect her to work hard in order to change. This is what he's going to expect her to do, but she won't. She won't change because she's unable to change. So he will have to work hard on himself in order to accept the fact that she will never change. This is what he will have to do. So, and then after he does that, you will have to realize that he cannot go back. So this is what this card is telling him. But first of all, he needs to make the first step, which is leaving. It's not easy. And as A.G. Tudor always says, it's almost impossible to leave the narcissist. The only way to cut ties with the narcissist is if the narcissist leaves you. But this is what this card is telling him. This is what he should do. And maybe if he does ask his father for help, he will be able to do that. But this is what he should do. Whether or not he will be able to do that, that's another question. But that is why we got the Eight of Pentacles and not the 9 or the 10 of Pentacles or another card that shows that it's easier, like the 10 of Cups or the 9 of Cups. We got a card that shows that it's hard, that it's not easy. And this is why we got it. So this card is telling him, yes, but it's not going to be easy for you. And he does need to wake up and to start making decisions. It's time to wake up and start making decisions. And this is not only for him, it's also for his children, if he cares about them as a father. Okay, so let's see what does the oracle have to say to Harry. The dark mirror. Now, this oracle is a dark oracle, but it also has good advice for a person that is in a very dark situations. So let's see what does it have to say to Harry. So let's clear the deck. Okay, so advice for Harry on being with an angry partner. Advice for Harry on being with an angry partner. Peaceful among thorns. Okay, so it's an interesting card, especially since we got so many major arcanas that showed us that this was a very spiritual spread. And this card is telling us that sometimes we talk too much about spiritual stuff. And sometimes spiritual does not solve our problems. So it says getting spiritual is not what solves our problems. It is what gives depth to our solutions. It makes them meaningful. It takes us from the small to the wide, from the river to the ocean. But sometimes we are not ready to make it our center, and therefore it's perfectly fine if we do not. So this card is telling Harry that the coexistence of the material and the spiritual is the human way to enlightenment. And he needs to look at the materials, material solutions, and not only at the spiritual solutions. And he's been looking at spiritual things way too much lately, and he needs to look for material solutions for his problems and not speak too much about spiritual things, because this is not going to solve his problems. So this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, share the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.